Good morning, and I wonder if you can hear, you could hear over the sound of new logo there, new introduction, the sound of the rooks. They're very busy this morning. And where are they? Well, they're right opposite the District Council offices, because we've come down here this morning to chat, as we usually do at 4:45, about the council. It meets for the first time this evening at 6 o'clock in the County Hall, and that is its very first meeting of the new council, with a makeup of 19 Conservatives, 9 Greens, 2 Independents, 8 Lib Dems, and I think 3 Labour. But anyway, the count comes out at 22 to 19, with the Conservatives still being the largest party. But I had a little interesting dialogue overnight, and may I say, well done the Greens, because I'm not taking any political sides at all. But the leader of the Greens, the new leader, Zoe Nicholson, has been in touch, and that is encouraging to begin with, because we had so much covert action from the last council. Didn't want to talk to anybody, didn't want to acknowledge any sort of local media existed, and also, of course, Ruth O'Keefe, who is the key independent. Whether the Conservatives, Labour and the Liberals will follow suit, I have no idea. But as you know, those of you who have checked in with me over the past little while, I've been calling for non-party politics in local government, and I think that possibly they've taken offence to that. But we do intend to take a much closer look at local government this time around with this council, and I hope that what they'll do is that they will be much more overt, that they will actually communicate with us and let us know what's going on. And just a couple of matters of interest is we have been in touch with some of the other media organisations that are concerned with the withdrawal of local coverage of councils. So this time around, we're going to perhaps play an even bigger part in keeping an eye on certainly the district council, and occasionally the county council, and the town council, because John Lamb, who also, I have to say, before he was elected, was in touch with me, and we have had 1 or 2 chats, and he's made some brave pronunciations the other evening when they elected him mayor, and I hope that he can live to them. He knows that I'm a bit sceptical, and I'm a journalist, you see. We're always sceptical. We hear these promises and proposals, and then, of course, a lot of them don't come true, or they get changed or whatever. So scepticism is our game. But in the meantime, let's hope that we actually will get some action from a new council, and a new direction, new spirit, new zest, and that because actually there are only about 14 or 15 of the old lot back out of a total of 50 some odd. So we're going to see a brand new era. Will it be promising? Who knows? But we're certainly going to give them a chance. We're not going to be too heavy on them, although there are several things which I think that they've got to look at. First of all, they've got to look at the merger with Eastbourne. Now, whether that can be counteracted, whether that can be brought back, I have no idea. But certainly it's not only me, it's not only Mirador that is calling for a second look, but Lewis I have certainly got it on their list of things that the council should do, and certainly some of the groups that exist where we get some of our information have called for that, and Town and County have looked at a sceptical eye. They ran an article in which they showed that it was difficult to get through on the phone. I mean, that's only just a start of the problems that we have with this administration, if you like. One of the other problems was that the old council were what I call, and what a former, I think I got a bit of a collar sticking up here. Oh, it's not really sticking up. It's just that the jacket isn't settled properly. But never mind. We'll live with it. There we go. As one former councillor and former mayor of Lewes said, is that the last lot were chummy with the executive. Well, they're not there to be chummy. They're there to make sure that the executive do a good job. And if in fact we find that they're going to be chummy, then I'm afraid that the political parties will come in for the same sort of flack that we've handed out to that executive, who really have not shown a great deal of efficiency and even openness in some of the problems. Surely it is better to call upon us, the media, and the electorate to help them if they've got difficulties, not to hide it and pretend that they don't exist, because they do exist, and it's time that something was done. So we call upon those people to take a look, particularly this new council, to make sure that they monitor properly. Let me just show you for a moment, because here we go. This is Lewes District Council. There we go. It's got the coat of arms above it, if you can see. This is the feared entrance. However, when you go through these doors, you're normally met with some very, very nice people. They're very pleasant, they're very charming, they're very helpful. It's when you go through the next set of doors that you get stonewalled and you get the real problems starting. Anyway, that's the town council, and that's where we're broadcasting from this morning, simply because it is an important day, and we will be at the council this evening. I don't suppose that they'll let us for one moment televise any of it. That change isn't going to be that fast, but we will be able to come outside and give you a report and a view on what we see. We may not stay the whole length of the evening unless it's very interesting, or we may, if we find that it really is feisty and rowdy and with a few comments, which is the way a council should be. I mean, the last leader got up and congratulated the council on being very quiet and very gentlemanly. Now, I'm all for being gentlemanly and also sometimes being quiet, but not in a council chamber. That's where debate should be robust. That's why we have the House of Commons built the way we do. It is like a cockpit, so that the atmosphere is, if you've never experienced the atmosphere, Prime Minister's question times in the House of Commons, I suggest you try and get a ticket. Maria Caulfield should be able to help you get one, and go up and take a look and see what it's like, because it crackles, and that's when heavy debate and good debate takes place. Although I must confess that it hasn't exactly served its purpose the last little while. But that's what a council chamber should also be sometimes. If we got these disparate groups, it's difficult to not understand, or it's difficult to understand why they wouldn't yell at one another from time to time and have disagreements. After all, if we're going to put out with the political parties, they're all supposed to think differently. And the independents, I may say, were the only feisty ones that I saw the last time around, and I hope that one of them has disappeared, at least from this council. He's on the town council, thank goodness, Stephen Capin. But Ruth O'Keefe, I'm sure, will keep things going, and her new colleague will help her, and they can bring up some of the issues that should have been brought up last time. But the interesting conversation that I had with both the Independents and with the Greens yesterday evening was, they're not quite sure who is going to be leader. And they don't know whether they can stitch a deal together so that, in fact, they would have a coalition that would outweigh the Conservatives. My view is that they probably couldn't, but perhaps much better that they get together and be a very effective opposition, which we didn't have last time. And that's the one thing that they can do that would be very, very effective. The other thing is to get rid of this iniquitous cabinet system that we have. Some councils have around the country. Unfortunately, I'm told that it was brought up 2 or 3 months ago, and of course fell because the old Muppets were there. Put up your hand and vote for. Put up your hand. It was hilarious. Brian Ricks, come back. You've got a wonderful farce there. But it was brought up, and of course it was defeated. But I think that we don't need to wait. It's only, I think, that if there is opposition, if whoever leads the council says no, we're not going to consider it for another 2 or 3 months, then it has to wait. But I see no reason why, once we've got a leader and once we've got a council and a party in charge, that they can't turn around and say, okay, let's bring forward looking at the cabinet system very quickly. The big problem with the cabinet system is it puts the power into hands of 2 or 3 or 4 people, plus the executive, and that's not good enough, because I elected a councillor to represent my views, and so did you, or did you? Because if you expect your councillor to express your views, you don't say hope in hell as long as we've got the cabinet system, because they just do what they want, and it almost makes the election and it almost makes the councillors irrelevant. Now we've got a new group in, so hopefully what they'll do is they'll make sure that they are relevant, that they are representing our views. And when I say our views, of course, is people will think differently. I'm not suggesting for one moment that they think all as one. That would defeat the purpose of democracy and the purpose of our elections. No, what we do expect them to do, though, is to be able to express those complaints, those ideas, those thoughts that the electorate have, and to stay in touch with us and be the link between us and the council. Not just let it ride because the cabinet is able to do things that leave them sidelined. So let's look forward to a feisty council. It'll be interesting to see what happens tonight, and we'll report back to you. Don't forget that there's another election that nobody wanted later on this week, and that is for the European elections, the EU elections. That's going to be an interesting kettle of fish. The way it is at the moment, it looks like the Brexit Party are well in advance, but the Lib Dems are coming into second place. So what we've got is a fight between in and out, with Labour not knowing where the hell they stand, and the Conservatives, who are polling at the moment just 17%. I don't know whether that'll transfer into the vote, but polling just 17%, and they've lost total touch with the electorate. And for that matter, I think that people, because it's a north-south divide on this one, I better find out just what the people in the north are thinking, because it ain't what we're thinking down here in the main, I'll tell you. So that's what's going to happen today, and we look forward to being with you later on today, and probably, if anything breaks during the day, we'll be back on. Till then, I must say, as usual, I lift my hat to you. Thank you for being with me. Toodle pip.
Every single day